Okay. Hello people, welcome back to the delivery standard section. As you know, we already have seen which are the standards that are making all the AIESEC experiences unique. Now we are going to actually see how IGV is delivering standards in every exchange that we do. As you know, there are 16, divided in 4 categories. So starting from the yellow one, which are the one about development, you know that IGV, let's say, enters in the process when its EP is selected. So you have to set their expectation. What is actually happening is like the hosting entity, so IGV people, are providing them with basic information about the country, about what are going to be the specific information of the project, and also about the culture. Like, for example, living standards, if for example you're going to a city that is kind of dangerous, if there is anything that they have to know about Italy that is going to be useful for them in the experience. After you deliver this session with them, which can be of course online because it's before realization, and it can be either one-to-one or in groups, the incoming preparation seminar is the first touch point for all the EP to be together and understand actually how the experiences is starting. So it has to be at the beginning of experiences. If you're going to have many realizations all together, it's cool to have a big IPS. But what happens? We are delivering our exchanges in all of the country. So this means that actually our IPS can be either physical or virtual. I'm having, 12 EPs in my city in this week that are starting the projects all together. I'm going to have a seminar with them. If they are all over the country, in other regions, in other provinces, you're going to have an online session with them. What is important after this meeting is that every EP knows about how the leadership development is going to work for them, which are the goals for them, and actually how to check on the experience while they are going to actually realize it. After this, it's super important that EP and opportunity takers, so the enabler, are going to have a space to double check everything and to align. As you know, AIESEC is not creating projects for running them. We are actually choosing someone to host the project. So in the example of EduChange, you need to make sure that the professor that is actually following the project has space with VPs, with the EPs, to understand their JD and how they can actually debrief a bit their personal settings. For instance, if I am an EP that is participating in EduChange, I have to understand which is my role, what is needed from me during for example, during the lessons and classes, and how I can actually, fulfill my objective to be more of a public speaker and to actually get some inputs about how to actually teach people. So that's also for teacher to check on the EPs. After this, we go on the second category of standards. As I said, we are focusing mostly on the hosting entity standards. During the logistic things, all of the things can be done no matter if physical or virtual. So as you know, we have visa and working permits. We have to provide the EP with all the documents that are needed in order to obtain a visa. For this, you can approach your VP. As you know, we have to provide main documents that are, let's say, legislative things. So they have to be clear and they have to be sent on time. After that, we have the arrival pickup. So when people are arriving in the country, we do have two options. Again, it's a physical realization for me, which means that the EP is coming into my city, or it's a virtual project. So the EP is actually going to a city in which there is no AIESEC. What is happening is actually either I give them a proper pickup, I go to the station and I pick them up, I go to the airport and I pick them up, or most likely I give them instruction of who is going there, can be a hosting family, can be the school responsible, or I give them instruction to actually meet all together in a meeting point. For that, it's super important the timing. So you have to give the information to the EP before he or she is arriving in the place in which they actually have to be. So about the pickup, how can you be efficient? When you approve people, you actually ask them when they're going to buy the tickets to send you all the data. So you can also check, for example, if an airplane is late. And then once you know all of the timings, you either tell to the people that are going to deliver the pickup, or you tell to the global family member or to the school person that is actually going there. That's for you to be organized. As soon as you have the tickets, you can start organizing the pickup and you're a happy AIESEC. Then you know that 6 weeks are coming, they are running their projects, and then they have to go back home. What you do there, you go and you give them instructions on how to actually come back to their country. And these are the departure support information. So it's basically how to get to the station, how to get to the airport, if for any reason maybe they are changing the city in which they are. So when you go to the next chapter, we speak about job. So first thing that we have to actually make sure is that we are giving clear information to the EP about which are their main activities and deliverables within their projects. This starts from the very beginning when you upload your opportunities on the portal, as you have seen on the explanation of our tools, our platforms. Then you have to double check with them. So anything that is written there, they are counting on it. And you, as an AIESEC, have the responsibility and the duty to actually understand if they got the point. So again, the job description has to be executed by the EP and has to be corresponding to what they actually signed for. After this, you know about the duration. Every project has to be for 6 weeks, which means that you have to understand if actually all the EP are going to stay in the country, Italy, for 6 weeks. And this is not trivial. And then last but not least, working hours. So you have to make sure with the enabler that they are actually running the project for no maximum than 30 hours per week. The arrangement can be done by the enabler itself, as long as it's not during the night, like at 3 a.m. But the most important thing is actually they have a schedule and they know how to actually plan their week. An instance can be also like if I'm going to a school as an EP and I'm running a change, I go at 8 and I have to prepare my classes for 1 hour and then I have added 4 hours which are classes, it's fine, you can count those as 5 because 1 hour was for preparation. If I'm an EP and I'm spending 5 hours in my bed doing nothing and I pretend that those are actually hours I'm spending to prepare the project, that's not the point and you're not fulfilling the working hours. Then, first day at work. As you know, everyone is scared on the first days of everything. So what do? Actually, we provide them help. How? If it's a physical realization, you actually try your best to go with every intern to the first day at work to introduce them a bit the environment. The person is going to take charge of them, so it can be like a teacher or whatever responsible of the NGOs if it's another project. Or, most likely, you have a virtual realization. So what do? Actually, you double check with the responsible in the school or in the NGO to arrange all of the, let's say, tour of the first day. So like which are the environments I have to work in, which are the classes, which are going to be my spaces in which I have to, for example, prepare my stuff and these kind of things. Then you have the last part, which is about living costs. No, living, and that's it. So the first thing that we actually have to do is double check that the insurance is in place. For this, actually sending entity is responsible, but as IGB, I really encourage you to double check that every EP is sending you a copy of a health insurance which is valid abroad. Why? Because it's not so unlikely to have someone that gets sick or has some kind of small accident. And you really don't want to be in those situations which you also have to care about their health. So double check it. Then you can also do like some double checking on Podio. When you have all the information about the EP, you double check that they gave you the information about flight and the health insurance. After that, accommodation. So, as you know, all the experiences that we are providing are going to be hosted 99.9% of the times in a global family. So what you have to do is actually to put those two people in contact and to give the information to the EP as soon as you know which is going to be the family that they are hosted in. Like the information about, for example, address, who are the responsible in the family, and if you have a contact for them to get in touch before the realization, is even better. Then you have basic living costs, so it can be also easy for you, but actually not everyone knows how can be expensive or not expensive living in Italy, even though you have accommodation. So for you, like you can give them information about how, for example, does it cost to travel in Italy, or how much does it cost to eat outside if you go to a restaurant. I know it seems trivial, but again, you have to make sure that everyone has information to fulfill as their best the project. And then these are the 16 standards. As you know, they're important. They are making us unique as an organization, and what you have to do to make sure that they are delivering all of them, you go on Podio. And every time that you approve someone, so you select someone to come to Italy, you check all the standards that you're actually providing them, as long as you have realization and then complete it. And when you do that, you're happy because you actually delivered one exchange.